Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 16 of the F1 Agenda podcast. I'm your host, Dan, and today I'm joined by Simon.
Hello.
Jeebus.
Hello.
Lambrex.
Hello.
And Excalibur.
Hello.
And today we'll be reviewing the 2018 Hungarian Grand Prix, and that all kicked off at the end, didn't it?
Yeah, shit race. 5 out of 10.
No, we do that bit at the end.
No, don't do it now.
You've jumped the gun.
Well, let's be honest here. Bottas had a nightmare of the last 5 laps.
Yeah, he had a mare, a real mare.
Yeah.
As all of the awful memes like to say, Bottas bottled it.
Bottled us.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
Bottled us.
Well.
It had to be made.
Just
he
why
didn't.
don't Tottenham should sign Bottas?
But yeah, no. First of all, he had his thing with his contact with Vettel in 2002. So whose fault was that?
Racing incident.
Racing incident.
More
Race
Bottas.
incident.
Well, I mean, like,
I feel like they both could have done something to avoid that.
okay,
Bottas
racing
could have
incident.
braked early, and Vettel could have probably gone that little bit wider and squeezed Bottas in so
Racing
much.
incident, but I still haven't seen the fucking onboards.
Yes, they
They
haven't actually put
won't release
Bottas
that,
as one up yet, I don't think.
So I don't know, like, how far alongside Bottas really was.
Well, Bottas was further frustrated, as we heard by his radio, where he was asked to give Ricciardo the position back, and he was just like, nah, fuck that.
Let's go to that one then. Turn 1. Whose fault was that? Bottas or Ricardo?
Of course,
Bottas.
I
Well,
think.
not in Bottas's mind, but
That's
well,
like
no.
that's like in
Ricardo's fault for going around the outside.
it's like in Spa 2012 when Grosjean said that Lewis turned in on him.
Lewis turned in.
oh god, no, dead meme,
The thing
dead meme.
Ricardo is so far out. Like, he's already so wide, and yet Bottas managed to hit him.
I wonder if Ricciardo's getting a bit annoyed at Mercedes cars hitting him on the inside of turn 1 at Hungary. He had it in 2015 when Lewis did it. Basically the exact same.
Wait, that's
Hey.
weird. Because for Island Person, obviously, we had a minute's silence for Jules in 2015, and a Mercedes hit Ricciardo. And both for hours started on the second row with a Mercedes front row lockout. It's a bit of a
Coincidence.
The one
coincidence.
thing that didn't match was the fact that there wasn't a Ferrari that won this time.
Yeah, that wasn't a good part.
Nah.
Hamilton didn't bottle it and get a drive-through penalty.
Well, no. Well, it wasn't how the fact
And
that
then the other Mercedes did bottle it, but
yeah.
oh wait, yeah, Mercedes both times bottled it when hitting a Red Bull breaking their front. Because didn't Rosberg hit Ricciardo in 2015 and break his front wing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no,
But that was slightly
This is
more.
getting kind of weird now.
It was a slightly more
Similar
racing
layout.
incident, mind you.
I'll say we were robbed off. We got maybe a good battle between Hamilton and Vettel for the win.
Nah.
By certain
Vettel-
signs.
Vettel wouldn't have got past.
And he wouldn't. I don't think he would have
We
caught
got
it.
behind him and then just.
I say maybe a good battle, not that he would get past.
Well,
I don't think there would
I
have
don't
even
think
been
you
battle.
could. Can you actually battle around Hungary?
Because the thing is, if Vettel couldn't overtake Bottas, then how was he going to overtake Hamilton?
Yeah. The only reason he got past Bottas was because Bottas' tyres were so old at that point.
Well, yeah.
He literally had no grip left at the rear.
I think like the Danish commentators questioned why Raikkonen went in for that second stop, and I think it was proven why he went in for that second stop in the end.
I think they were trying to coax Valtteri into doing a second stop, so that opens the door for Vettel to just have a clean stop and not get caught up.
Yeah.
Because it gets Valtteri out of the way like they did with the first stop.
Just going back quickly to the science thing, he missed 9 yellow flags.
Blue flags.
Blue flags, rather, sorry.
Blue flag.
Which
Blue flag.
you only allowed to go through 3. He didn't get penalised for it. And remember in 2016 when Gutierrez got a pen for, I think it was about, 6 that he missed for Hamilton?
Yeah.
And Hamilton famously gave him the finger. And then there was the whole thing of Gutierrez saying, "Oh, that's not how you should be responding." blah blah blah, blah with kids watching.
Well, in the like, if the driver ahead of you ignores 9 blue flags, I can understand why Phil in the end was really annoyed, and had to go over the radio like blue flags.
Well, I don't know why he didn't get penalised.
But that other one as well.
It's really weird because now the FIA basically set a precedent that blue flags don't matter.
Yeah.
Because if Science was in a battle, then I could understand why they didn't give him a penalty. Because, I mean, you can't really just lift off when you're in the middle of a heated midfield battle.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I don't believe he was anywhere near anyone.
Yeah, to my understanding, he wasn't near anyone, so it's just, I don't know, it's a weird one.
Yeah.
Another questionable thing with penalties this year.
But also a bit of what caused Phil from maybe getting out ahead of Bottas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and the slow pit stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why I didn't give the penalty, maybe, because it didn't change Vettel's position, ultimately, because of the slow pit stop.
Mm.
But
I still think that's like the thing is, right now it seems like the steward says they don't just look at the incident, they also look at what happens after the incident. Like whatever happens after the incident also matters apparently inside the judgment of the vote. It's not just the incident itself anymore. It's also did the driver get punished or not by himself or another thing, which is
And
I feel like that's wrong because I feel like you take away the focus on the incident itself. That means that it could mean that Bottas could hit Vettel again, but because Bottas lost more, he won't get a penalty.
I think it's a good and a bad thing, really, because a clear comparison is Vettel against Bottas in France, and then Kimi against Hamilton in Silverstone. And there was a safety car in France, so then obviously Vettel had to pit anyway because of his front wing, and Bottas lose that much time comparatively. Although he then had car damage, which complicates it even more. But they didn't know that during the race when they gave them a penalty.
Yeah.
And in Silverstone there was no safety car, and Kimi didn't fall to the back of the grid, so there's...
Kimi continue onwards in Silverstone.
Okay, but for me, like if you're going to look at a penalty and how you're going to penalise it, you have to look at, I don't think you really have to look at the impact, like, I mean, not the literal impact, but like the sort of ramifications of the accident. You have to look at it just within, like, the corners in which it took place. So with the Vettel Bottas, that was a serious crash with a serious mistake by Vettel, so it should be a serious penalty. Raikkonen, sort of serious mistake with a serious crash, should be a serious penalty. Verstappen, same thing with Vettel. I don't think you should look at sort of the whole race situation, because then you're going to get the same instance with different penalties.
And which we do. And then people complain inconsistent. It's a very difficult one. I wouldn't want to be a steward because you're just always going to get people who.
Trust me.
Yeah, you can never keep everyone happy.
Well,
No.
trust
I'd
me.
wanna-
Like I heard first-hand stories. Tom Christensen is normally like the expert commentator for Danish TV. However, when he has steward's duty for Formula 1, he's replaced. But he does sometimes tell how intense it gets inside the control room as soon as they get something in, because then they have to look through cameras over and over and over again to try and judge if there's anything wrong here. And despite the fact it seems like it takes a long time for you guys, apparently feels even longer for the stewards, because they have to look over these clips over and over again to try, and especially for a guy like Tom who's supposed to be the driver's eyes. Basically, he has to give input to how the driver may have seen it. It's favor him because he'll be asked a lot of things about the incident itself.
But I just sort of think, like, I might just be slightly like sort of just walking back what I just said, but for me, like, if it's the first corner and you literally just punt off another driver and ruin their race, then surely that should be a far more serious penalty.
Oh,
like
yeah,
your race should be ruined as well.
basically.
Yeah.
Because Formula, if you're going to be like, because Formula is, because technically stewards are giving out punishments, in a sense that there's no room for like, bloody rehabilitation. It's all about vengeance, essentially. It should be eye for an eye. In this,
You make a mistake, you get the punishment of the same caliber and degree.
exactly.
Hmm.
So if Raikkonen puts Hamilton to the back, then Raikkonen should get a penalty which puts him near the back. So he should get a drive-through, or a 5-second stop-go, 10-second stop-go, whatever. It should be that serious.
While we're doing stewarding,
Otherwise, it's not fair. And I'm not saying that anybody does it on purpose, obviously, but it's just that there's serious, there's championships at stake here. You never know what might happen. So it's all about the balance, really.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
the stewarding inconsistency is. Can we talk about qualifying and Grosjean?
Oh yeah, the Verstappen Grosjean blocking.
Oh, I mean that's just ridiculous.
Oh god.
I mean, how that wasn't a penalty?
It's beyond me. It's beyond me.
Like Grosjean, like they had the little graphic up about his sectors. Was green, was going to improve, and then came across the line like what 4 seconds down on his lap time
Yeah.
because he had to back off because of Verstappen. Like, I mean, in what way is that not impeding?
I know, it's absolutely ridiculous.
I just don't get it. He just sat on the racing line.
Oh, don't even get me started with Lewis on K-Mag. That's just...
I'm sorry, that's different.
It's stupid.
Wait. Oh, you mean the one in Hungary?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment.
Yeah, I haven't seen it
Well,
either.
the only thing we have is a sound clip of Magnussen complaining to his engineer.
I mean...
Oh, yeah, no, but he fucking complains every second of the fucking race, doesn't he? So...
Yeah, fuck off, Lambert.
Oh god.
Yeah, he's not Alonso. Oh yeah, Alonso was complaining again this week.
Oh yeah, apparently now FOM are just taking all his team radio messages for fun.
Well, yeah, but I'm sorry, but he's like a politician. Like, he uses the radio, like, as his media. That's how he makes his messages across.
Also, Alonso is like one of the biggest stars of F1.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he tells a good story of the midfield, so obviously they're going to use him.
Like, if you're like one of the most popular drivers in Formula One, they're going to use your radio a lot. That's why you have Kimi and Lewis and Seb all the time as well.
Yeah, Kimi isn't used like every race, even for like the little things. So.
Oh yeah.
Because it's interesting to hear from those drivers because they're the ones that most people like. They're the most interesting ones.
They have like the most respected opinion among the grid. So what they say is normally like people want to hear what they want to say.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Like when they're involved in an incident, like if they didn't put up a message about that driver like being an incident, they're like, "Oh, where's the message about that?" They must have said something about it. Like if it was someone down the back, they might not have been so interested.
Oh, yeah.
If it's a top driver or like one like a top caliber, although Alonso's like in a midfield team, but that's McLaren, they will want to hear if they've got an opinion about it.
It's really depressing to like McLaren are just like a standard midfield team. They're not even.
I'll give them their due. They pulled up a pretty good They pulled up a bad strategy in Hungary.
Their strategy was mad.
They jumped about what 4 cars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They jumped Hartley, Sainz, and Grosjean.
At least.
Because I remember Grosjean came over the radio saying, "Where are we?" And he's like, "Oh, his radio guy was like, oh, we're down 11th because the McLarens pulled a mad strategy and jumped everyone."
And then things turned to the usual sadness for Van Dorn.
Oh, I mean, this guy.
A second gearbox failure for McLaren in 2 races.
Yeah.
Because Alonso had a gearbox failure on the last lap last week.
Yeah.
I mean,
gearbox failure.
What is it with these Renault cars? I know it's not a Renault-related issue, but it just seems that I know, but it seems like the Renault engine cars are the most unreliable.
It's really interesting about Verstappen's DNF actually, because it was an MG UK failure suspected, but Red Bull don't have the improved MG UK. They still run the old one.
There you go.
But
Actually, no, believe doesn't someone run. Believe it's only Ricardo that runs the old one.
No, I believe both of them won it because they said because it wasn't made available to them at the Spain test, they decided because what was it? It was released in Austria, I think.
Yeah, Austria. Because I think there was a thing about both Red Bulls and Alonso didn't take the new
Yes.
parts. It was only I think Van Dorn and the two Renaults.
Yeah, and I think Red Bull like, well, we haven't tested with it, so we don't know what it's like, so we'll just keep with the old one. And then they're complaining that it's unreliable, even though the new one is more reliable.
Yeah.
I know, but if they didn't get it at the test, then like, what are they supposed to do?
Run it.
It's not as simple as that.
Well, you get an upgrade, you use it.
No, not
You don't-
necessarily.
you
That's not how it
You
works.
don't then just start complaining that it's unreliable.
No, but like and
That's
like people always like this is the thing in Formula One. Like Ted Kravitz, for example, or like Craig Scarborough, was always like goes around the cars at the start of the weekend and goes, oh, there's an upgrade for McLaren, upgrade for Force India, whatever. But like it's not like in the F1 games where every upgrade like just
Yeah,
works
I
and
know.
boosts
They
performance.
need to run like rigorous testing to it and everything.
So you
Well-
can't just bolt it on and say,
Well, no,
right, let's just
I
go.
think- Well, Renault will be giving them data about it because it's been like, I'm not saying take it at Austria, but take it maybe a race after, see how it's run for the Renault. I mean, maybe they got scared because of Hulkenberg's engine failure there.
Well, that's it then, isn't it? Like that's
Nothing
quite a
else.
valid reason.
Hmm.
I don't know. It just seems a bit weird that they're just like going, "Oh no, Renault are this terrible, it's so unreliable," and they're not accepting it.
They can't wait for Honda next year.
Well, I think it's rather political, really. I think Renault aren't going to give Red Bull any quarter because they know that they're not going to be with them next year. So
Well,
Yeah.
it's like when drivers go out, they don't give the new pass to a driver that's leaving anyway. It doesn't make sense. They're not
but
going
I
to be at
think
the car next year.
generally for Formula One, Renault have just not been good.
Honda have been good reliability. They've had good
Well,
reliability.
no,
Sort of.
thing. The running thing is that Renault actually shut down Renault did the reverse basically of what everyone else was doing. They shut down the Formula E team to focus on F1.
Yeah, they made a good choice.
Where we have people like Mercedes, Porsche, and so Porsche shut down the LMP1 team to go to Formula E. BMW has shut down. I can't remember what they shut down something to go into Formula E. Mercedes shut down the DTM team, much to the dismay of everyone else at DTM. To go into Formula E.
So essentially, what Formula E has done is ruined motorsport forever.
Basically. But yeah, no, like
That's one way of
And on
doing
that bombshell, it's time to end.
no,
Thank you
it's
very
not.
much for watching. Good night.
but basically, you have all these teams that are coming in, that are going to Formula E and ditching other things. Porsche ditched the entire LMP1 team. Volkswagen, this Volkswagen group does no longer have any major influence in WC in the top front. They don't really have their Porsche GT cars, which is a run, because they're somewhat cheap.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know for a second. I think that most of it is coming from McLaren and Red Bull. Everything up too tight, overheating, or just something's going wrong. I just think they're packaging it way too tight.
Well,
that has been a known problem for the McLaren.
Okay, sure, but like
I mean,
it's a tricky one because
So-
like for me, like if Red Bull have the best car and the best designer, like they deserve the best engine that will work around them. And like the reason that they were able to be successful 2009 to 2014 13 was because it wasn't an engine formula. Because a Renault, but you have to remember back then the Renault engine wasn't good either. Like in relativity, the Mercedes and the Ferrari were better. So nothing's changed. It's just that because the engine has become the most important part of the car,
yeah.
that it's becoming
Red Bull.
more obvious.
And
well,
it's
next year with Honda. Also, they didn't go for tight packaging. They gave it space to kind of let it breathe, and it's worked very well. But McLaren tried to pack it as tight as they possibly could, and it blew up every other lap.
Well,
Red Bull are
what-
going to try to keep it tight. It
I'll say
worked
what.
well for them.
Well,
Yeah, but
Honda,
of course Red Bull are going to do that, because if they don't do that, then their entire like aerodynamic philosophy is dead.
The thing is, Honda work. They're on. I believe they're about to go into the like 10th or 11th ICE for like between the two Honda engines. Reliability is what Honda needs to focus on right now, because the amount of parts like engine PU components used by Honda is extreme right now, especially for like the ICE and MGU parts.
Yeah.
I believe Harley is on his 6th ICE at this point in time. 6th. We only just at the summer break.
Yeah. I think there was also a stat that came out about Red Bull that 6 out of their 8 retirements this season have come down to mechanical failures.
Right.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, that just means the 2 that wasn't comes out as the one from Baku.
Well, then you have a few gearbox issues as well. I believe.
Yeah.
Well, you have the one here in Hungary, which is a gearbox, which, yeah.
I know. I mean, yeah, like gearbox, but it may well be caused by the engine.
Yeah.
You know, too much torque, too many revs, not enough revs. Same. You know,
Yeah.
these all very very sensitive.
Damage already to a gearbox, just damaging it even more.
No, exactly.
Exactly.
It's just, but either way, it doesn't like who to blame doesn't really matter. It's just a shame for Formula One because
Yeah.
a third team at the top.
Red Bull
would
have
be-
the car
would be great.
to be up there with Ferrari and Mercedes, but
Oh, if Red Bull had a Mercedes engine, they'd be the world champions.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm quite certain of that
But
fact.
I'll say the engine battle is definitely heating up at the front between Mercedes and Ferrari, especially with Ferrari not bringing new upgrades to Spa, apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ferrari
yeah.
have done something, and if they hadn't like done the thing that they'd have done, then I think they'd be quite far behind.
Yeah, I believe what I heard is the fact that Ferrari has split the battery part of their of the hybrid system, because it states that the M2K has to run through the battery, but not how it has to run through the battery, I believe. And
Right.
Ferrari has taken the loophole and at least from what I heard, they split the battery. So it has one part which is what the MGU-K feeds on through, and then have, and because the MGU-H is unrestricted, there's no restriction how much you can use the MGU-H. They have honestly, apparently what I've heard, they abused that rule so much. You get so much power out of the MGU-H that it's astonishing. It's why they call off so quickly, apparently.
Yeah.
And then down to bring in a 40 horsepower upgrade to the ICE apparently as well.
Mm.
It's busy down in Italy for them.
Yeah. Well,
And
we'll see what happens after the summer break. Ferrari turn up. Walk away.
we have the ultimate test of engine power in Turin after the next race.
Yeah.
Because then we go to Monza. If
That's
Ferrari
basically all straight line speed.
if Ferrari actually has the fastest power unit, it will be a sight to behold for every single Ferrari fans maybe at Monza,
Yeah.
because then there's a potential for Ferrari one too.
Well,
If they don't
I'd like
over
to
again, but
I'd like to talk about Ferrari.
go ahead.
So qualifying, it's whatever, like they just weren't that quick, but I mean that's fair enough, but they still ended up third and fourth. So, like strategy has long been the area where Ferrari have consistently been poor, and one of the reasons why Vettel hasn't won the championship. And I don't understand what they were thinking, because with Vettel,
I'll say it almost worked really.
but it didn't though, did it? Because
I'll say if things wasn't if they didn't lose 4 seconds on the inlet on like 2 inlets.
okay, sure, but if buts maybes, the fact is, if he'd started on the ultra soft tires, then he wouldn't have even been in that position. it's like there wouldn't be the potential for him to be in that position.
Well, the thing is,
Because he would have been on
for-
ultras, possibly third, maybe even second, being able to push with Lewis, right?
That will be depend too much on the start, and if the
Well, no, but even if he was fourth, it's still exactly the same position. Like, because the thing is, on a track like this, you can't like depend on the idea that you need to overtake somebody to win the race.
No, Ferrari knew that if they both were behind Bottas after turn one, it would be they'll have to play a long game no matter what, because you can't basically not overtake in Hungary. You need to have some massive balls, which Ricciardo's shown.
Okay, but let's say Vettel gets ahead of Raikkonen, because he would, obviously.
Yeah.
Then Vettel does an undercut on Bottas, gets out ahead of Bottas, is not that far behind Lewis, on the same tyres, with a faster car, easier to win than the situation that he put himself in.
But then you still come down to the fact what would have happened, because they will still have to overtake Hamilton to win it.
Well, but
When
obviously...
you start fourth, you're probably going to have to overtake at least one.
That's what like Simon, he was in the lead. Of course I've got to fucking overtake him. But my point is, like, by starting on the softs, they gave themselves the chance to be behind Bottas. When if they were on the ultras, they probably would have been able to just undercut him.
To be fair, even on that soft tyre strategy, if he pitted a couple of laps earlier, he would have beaten Bottas out of the pits.
The strategy wasn't stupid. It's just the time of the pit stop was a few laps too late.
Yes.
Had it gone in a few laps too,
If he pitted like 2 laps earlier, he'd have easily cleared Bottas.
he would clear Bottas. He would been 8 seconds behind Hamilton. And it would 30 laps to go on the ultras. That would have been easy to catch up to him. He would still have to do the overtake on Hamilton, at least try it. But then he would also do that if someone managed to undercut Bottas.
I mean, I would agree with you if like this was like Monza, you know, with like the same tyre wear or whatever. But like if this was Monza, where you can overtake, then I'd agree with you. But I'd just rather have track position. By the end of the day, like it's like it doesn't really matter because they came second either way. But
I feel like the risk Ferrari took with having Phil start and stuff almost paid off. It's just a pit mistake, and Alan being held up by something just ruined it, everything. I feel like Phil could have had a chance had he come out of Bottas on the ultras. He would have had a chance because he wouldn't have been that far behind Hamilton then.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because at the max distance, Phil had 25 seconds down to Bottas, whilst Bottas was only 8 or 9 seconds behind Hamilton. Believe, like maybe 10.
Yeah.
But in the end, Phil went ahead of Bottas on a faster side than Hamilton, with not that long up to Hamilton, like 10 seconds on less than 10 seconds. So you would have a chance at catching Hamilton, and catch him at the very least. Getting past him is a whole other issue, though, because of Hamilton's late pit stop, which would have made his tires loss anyway. But that's a what if, really, at this point.
Yeah. I guess in the end, Vettel did the best damage limitation he could do from on the grid.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah, but moving away from stuff that happened on track to something that kind of happened off the track, and the situation with Force India.
It's desperately sad.
It
Yeah.
is.
And
Wait,
quite
how
frankly,
can
like
they,
oh, go ahead.
He only worth about 100,000 euros. Make a 30 million euro investment.
Oh yeah, with Which Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Quite frankly, like I don't care about Sergio Perez or Esteban Ocon or Bob Fernley. Who I care about are the 400 plus incredible people that work for Force India, whose livelihoods depend on this coming through.
I'll say they should be happy of that, because the entire game, Paris may have saved the team versus it shutting down. That was the thing, because Rich Energy's tweet on the Wednesday, I believe, before the Grand Prix, was was annoyed at Paris and that because it went to administration. However, later details came out that one of the creditors, unknown, not name, no name given, tried to get a tried to wound up Force India in court on Wednesday. However, Paris, alongside his manager and his managing team, manager company, alongside Mercedes and BWT, forced instead went into the court and got the team to administration, so it could keep on running instead of having wound up and just immediately shut down.
I think
And all of a sudden, like if as British Energy blames Paris, I don't know what's going on there.
I think what's happened there is Rich Energy want a bit of publicity.
Yeah.
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 They got it in
Publicity is
December.
good publicity.
Yeah.
But I think the thing to realize here is the fact that this administration is good. Like, they wanted the administration and they will get funding, but I'm going to become angry. So please, you know,
Is this another time for the Lambrecht rant section?
this is a Lambert rant.
Oh, part 2.
Yeah. Okay. If McLaren, Williams, and Renault block Force India getting this funding and getting the prize money and coming back into Formula One, then I will absolutely go berserk. How dare they? Just because they're competitors and they're self-serving and greedy, that they would be so heartless to cut 500 jobs of normal working people.
Now,
How dare they?
let me just put. I can semi understand Renault as it'll mean one less Mercedes car in the grid, but the McLaren Williams I don't understand at all.
Well,
I'm sorry, but even if you're a direct
well-
competitor, it is for the good of the sport, and that is the most important thing.
I think you are being a bit melodramatic. I think the new owners, I think is basically like all but signed now. They've got the new owners, and I think obviously the prize money is going to be a big loss if they do block it, but I don't think they're going to be in this bad of a situation if they do not get that prize money.
I'm not sure how I read it, but I believe that, like, it was literally down. I think it was AMUS from Germany, and they made it seem pretty much like if they didn't get the prize money, then they would be out of Formula One.
I think that's a bit.
No, that wasn't. The thing is that if they don't get this, if they don't get this money, it will make the job of finding a new one very, very hard, much harder. That's the thing.
It's going to be much worse
Yeah.
for Force India, but I don't think they're going to be in this situation for a long time yet.
Hmm.
I think what may happen, they may have to, draw in someone else.
Well, they have what they have. The rumors is Stroll. There's Mazepin. There's
Mazepin's dad.
even Andretti has been put into the picture now as well.
I think Mazepin's dad already invests in the team slightly because Mazepin is the test driver, I think. Or he's in their setup somewhere.
He's
one of their test drivers. Yeah,
young drivers.
in there.
Okay, I mean, sure, like, it's probably not as bad, but even so,
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying.
I think that, like, Formula One is in a really bad place if we have a team going into administration. Like, that just shouldn't be allowed to happen. Especially the team that came fourth in the Constructors' Championship.
I think it's
For the
even
twice in a row.
for the past 2 years.
Fourth.
I feel like it isn't just down to results; it's also down to mismanagement at the top of Force India. I feel
But
like
it should be down
that's
to
what-
results.
Yeah, no, but I heard there is some form of mismanagement that's been mismanagement down at Force India even before they came up to fourth in the standings.
I mean, I can't really, like, comment. I don't really know the details, quite frankly. I know it's all a bit of a strange scenario with Vijay Mallya, but I don't really know. Because, I mean, Sergio Perez seemed pretty happy with Mallya and said, the reason that they're there is him. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say. There's just a lot of things going on. It's all very corporate and politics. And
It is bureaucracy AF.
But I just think that, Formula One and Formula One teams should be trying to do everything they can to get Force India in back and safely in, as opposed
Yeah.
to trying to block prize money or whatever.
Well, I
Yeah.
think it's even worse the fact that Williams have blocked this. Because what if it turns out that in a year or two they're going to be in this
Oh yeah,
exact
because they
same
might well be in the same
situation?
position. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. Especially if they're losing so many sponsors at the moment. It's
They're
insane.
losing Martini. They're losing Martini and they're going to lose Lance Stroll. They're their two biggest sponsors, effectively.
Yeah.
They're going to lose both of them in a year.
At least we may get to see a new Williams paint job next year. One can
Oh,
hope.
The designers may actually have something to do this year.
No,
I
they
mean,
can't
their
pay-
5-year holiday.
No,
I
they
bet,
can't pay-
I bet
they
Paddy
can't
Lowe
pay-
is regretting his life.
Let's move to William. Oh,
Oh,
Will pull some strings and magically have a change of heart.
well,
prove it.
Mercedes can pull some strings.
Yeah,
If they
well,
want to.
Mercedes can pull on the Williams string.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they,
Renault is forcing McLaren to vote against it.
Well, yeah.
And-
yeah.
But it's because the rumours are that obviously Stroll's going to Force India and everything, and then Mercedes are going to invest more into Williams. So then George Russell's going to go to Williams to partner probably Sergei Sorokin. There goes Lambrex's sigh because he's one of the
Yeah,
idiots.
but
that
he's
thinks
just
F1.
shit, isn't he?
No,
He's just
he's
really,
not.
really
I
shit.
feel sad for Sorokin because he in
like he's even worse than Stroll.
Oh, here we go.
oh god.
I'm gonna break in here and say I feel sorry for Sorokin because he looks so shit right now because of Stroll's fluke points in Baku, and the fact that he is in an absolute shit box.
No, I know he is, but what does he do? Like,
He actually he has a better average grip position than Stroll has. I will give him
He
that.
did stick it in Q2 at Germany. That's not an easy feat for a Williams car.
It's just for guys Sorokin and Jaren just both strong Sorokin, they need a fluke result to ever get points. And
Yeah.
that's what Sorokin has to go for. Either somehow the car decides to work as a F1 car, or he gets a fluke result. That's the only way
Well,
he's
no,
gonna get.
it's really unfortunate because the only track they've ever been competitive at this year, and probably ever will be competitive at this year, was Baku, and
Yeah.
Sorokin got taken out at turn 3 on
Yeah,
the first lap. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Williams B-spec car revealed.
oh no, they don't have the money.
yeah, they don't.
They don't have any resources to make a B-spec car this season.
Yeah, they'll be focusing on next year.
Oh yeah, no, that car was dropped a month ago,
Mm.
thrown out the window.
Probably dropped off to Australia, but
Basically, that car was thrown out the window. All plans for it was burned in a big bonfire, and while everyone dancing around, being happy that those plans are finally gone.
Paddy Lowe's mind at the first test in Barcelona. It's like, all right, first test of the year. Let's see how this car works. All right, first lap. Let's see how this. Oh, next year's car. Let's start it.
let's see how the car works. Oh wait, it doesn't work.
I think they knew before testing that they knew that this was going to be shit.
Oh, yeah.
Because I said
Yeah.
it in the preseason podcast and never got released.
The podcast that never was.
Yeah. That like you just looked at Stroll's like body language and everything. I mean, I know he's usually depressed anyway. That's why I like him. But he just looked so bored and he didn't want to be there.
His body language.
No, and I respect the, the fact that they have a crap car. I get it, but we've seen in the past when the good drivers have had crap cars, they still make a difference.
No, but that was in a different formula.
Alonso Barcelona 2017.
No, but
These are sorts. Why is it different?
Because Caliber just mentioned the McLaren. That McLaren was very different because it had a good chassis, so then it could go well at a track like Spain. This Williams has nothing going for it whatsoever. It is awful at every single thing.
I feel like what wasn't we talking about? I think it was a few podcasts ago. The Williams is so slippery. It's bad. It's making it worse than it is.
Well, no, it's not even good in a straight line anymore
No.
because they were like,
Yeah,
oh,
because
it's so
the aero they tried to put on to make it better in the quarters has cut off so much straight line speed. There's nothing left.
yeah,
Yeah.
they were
What
like,
they had in 2017.
like Paddy Lowe basically when he said that they knew how like it was limited in terms of aero, but they had so much like they had such less drag that they were like, okay, we can cut a bit of this drag off, so we can have a bit more of a draggy car, but it'll be better in the corners. It fucked up, and now they've got nothing. They're
Yeah.
shit in a straight line, and they're shit in the corners.
Like I think when did Paolo officially join Williams? Anyone remember
It was just after Bottas.
that? Yeah.
Well, no, it was around the Bottas, so it was December 2016,
Okay. Yeah.
January 2017.
Yeah. No.
around
I honestly feel like they're gonna have to build a basic brand new car. Like nothing looks like what they've done previously for
This
next
was
year.
basically a brand new car.
That's the sad part of it.
Yeah,
Mm.
basically, Paddy Lowe just like put everything that he saw from other cars, just slapped it on. And
Well, 9 times out of 10, a brand new car like concept seems to just go to shit, like the McLaren 2013 or the
McLaren 2015.
McLaren 2015. You know.
McLaren 2017.
Yeah,
Seems to be a recurring theme here.
or the Renault 2007.
Yeah.
You know,
well, no, to be fair, the McLaren 2017 was a decent chassis. It's just got so much drag.
Lotus 20. Lotus / Renault 2016.
you've got to be under the leadership of a very, very good team principal and designer like Braun in 2009 or Mercedes in 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Although
there's-
Williams
you're-
just don't have that because I severely doubt Claire Williams.
yeah, I'm starting to doubt her as well because she's just. It's more the fact that she's just. It's like she's just going off what her success of her dad.
I don't really see
In a way.
that much leadership
Yeah,
because
Yeah,
like you
so-
sort of when I look at somebody like Toto Wolff or Christian Horner, I see a leader. I see like a talisman.
Yeah.
or even Gilles de Ferran.
Yeah,
I saw an interview with him on Paddock Bash yesterday, and he looked like he was a leader.
Or like Manisha Kaltenborn back at Williams when they were in there. No, Williams at
Sauber.
Sauber when she was really leading them for a fantastic patch. And
Also,
everybody was behind her.
then also mention Fred Vasseur.
Yeah, and
Fred
Fred
Vasseur
Vasseur.
is amazing. I really like Fred Vasseur.
Mm.
He's so jolly.
Yeah.
He's just always laughing. It's amazing.
I
Say that it
I think you really need a strong leader.
Yeah. You really like you can see the teams have strong like there's the one that has a really good that's going really good right now, or at least having good spells. I'll say Adebabine also looks like a good leader for Ferrari for what he does. It seems to
Well-
unite that team under the red banner really, really well.
We weren't saying that like 8 months ago.
Who? What? Don't put words in my mouth, mate.
No, I said we weren't.
That's true.
I do think it's funny
Don't
that
take words out of my mouth.
To be fair, I don't think we were saying anything 8 months ago, so I don't think that one podcast.
I'm gonna say it was fucking December.
No, there were
That-
strong rumours in December that he was going to get sacked.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Normally that's the normal case with most Ferrari bosses. They're always on basically thin ice when they get the job anyway.
No, River Benny's. I have a lot of respect for him.
I
Yeah, I
like,
respect it.
I'll give him one respect as well. He's really good with his F1 history as well.
So,
If you
ex
saw if you saw his girl grad. But I know, like, I have a lot of respect for Rebane, especially how he managed to pick back up this Ferrari team.
Yeah, I think it's something that, like, you know, I heard his interview after the race, and you know, he's talking about how, you know, it's been a tough weekend, but you know, we come back with passion and with energy, and that we're going to be doing it for Sergio, and
Yeah,
that like we're a team that's focused, and that's what he'd want us to do.
yeah,
So we're going to do it and make him proud. And I think, you know, that's fantastic team management from Arriva Benny.
yeah. trying just despite tough times, keep the morale and the motivation up.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's all you can really do in a time like this.
I think we should revert back to our normal tradition now. I feel like this is always the best way to end a podcast with our race ratings.
Ah, yes. Lambrex's favourite part of.
My favourite part.
Would you like to take command in this section again?
Sure, Daniel, go ahead.
I'd say probably 5, 6 out of 10. Like most of the race was quite quiet and nothing much happened, but it then just seemed to really kick off at the end with all this Bottas incidents. But yeah, it's kind of more like the average race, and yeah, it's kind of like a normal Hungaroring race since you can't really overtake around there anyway. So
Yeah, fair enough.
It is cool in Monaco without the walls for racing.
yeah,
Well, Fedge, with that under consideration, what's your rating?
4 out of 10. Like for most part, it was a bit of a ball fest. The cannons decided to roll out a bit for the last 5-6 laps, but other than the rest of it wasn't really to write home about.
Jeebus?
I ain't got a clue. Like 6 or 7 maybe. It was pretty nothing.
Fedus?
A decent end, but other than that, it's pretty shit.
Excalibur?
I give lap 1 to lap 65 a 2 out of 10, and lap 66 to lap 70 a 7 out of 10, which averages to 4.5. So
well, that's some actual math going on in there.
I know, yeah, that's
We're not-
a
we're
little
not
bit
used-
much for me.
That's some quick maths.
Yeah. My race rating? 10 out of 10. Hamilton won.
Oh,
Really?
No, on a rail.
Where's the real? Who is this imposter? Where's the real Lambrex?
No, 6. Yeah, 6 out of 10. Like, it was one of those races that's, like, just good. It's sort of, like, what you expect. A little bit of strategy, a little bit of action. You know, not terrible, but not brilliant. You know, like, really just alright.
have Coldplay just released a single or something? I mean, being too positive.
Like, I wish. But unfortunately,
Where is this Lambrix we usually see?
well, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you know, Coldplay aren't going to be around for a while, so, you know.
Yay.
So you have to get positivity from another source. Where do you get it from? I need
Well,
that.
I just have to listen to the back catalogue.
Anyway, moving back from Coldplay.
No, I'd really rather. Can we have like the Coldplay agenda? Is that something we can do? Like,
No.
You can.
yeah, that's fine.
You can create your own server and then you can do your own podcast.
You laugh and joke, but Coldplay's bassist Guy Berryman is a big motor racing fan and has done some competitive racing in the past, and he is going to do Le Mans next year, apparently.
Is he? Do you know how much I care?
Well, I know Simon will care quite a lot.
You know, like I have respect for people outside of the motor racing world going into trying Le Mans because it is a tough race.
Yeah.
Just like the legendary Sir Chris Hoy, amongst others.
I'll say Patrick Dempsey as well. He still has his team running.
Yes.
The funny thing is that he upgraded his team to two cars for this year.
What a guy.
He actually runs 2 cars now in the M category.
I don't know.
Both the 77 and the 88.
You don't know who Patrick Dempsey is?
No.
For fuck's
American,
sake.
well, a big legendary American actor.
He was in... What was he in?
See, he has to Google it. That's
No, I'm thinking. Oh, he was in Bridget Jones films.
oh yeah, I've watched Bridget Jones.
I think he's in one of the Transformers
Also,
films, but we're getting a bit off topic there.
Oh, I swear he was in that film Enchanted, the one.
Can I quickly burst in when something that you saw? According to Ross Brown, Formula 1 will try and do everything he can to help Force India survive.
Good.
Yeah. It'd be sad to see Force India go.
Fucking would.
Such one of the best, like, little teams because I mean they'll never jump out of the midfield, but
Or they're taking the independent team.
I'd be devastated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if they have to become Force Canada, just keep them there.
Yeah, Force Canada, big up.
Uh,
Make
but yeah, no, like also they were so easy. They're so easily identifiable, especially with the BWT sponsorship right now and the pink cars.
Yeah, you can't
That's
exactly
so
miss
easy
pink
to see.
Panthers.
It's just pink car for India. We know it.
yeah, Crofty loves it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see
Okay.
maybe Force Canada. We could get like a maple leaf sort of thing. That might be quite good.
Can I mention something?
No.
Please about because I saw a Reddit discussion which was about the Sky commentary, and actually people outside the UK being annoyed at how biased it is towards British people.
Okay.
And the problem people doesn't have a problem with it being biased. It's just it's biased on the worldwide feed, which Sky is.
It's a tricky one because
Yeah, this has been a discussion that's come around a lot of times.
it's a tricky one because like yes, they're a British broadcaster, so they should be biased. Like just a little bit. Like they're not because then this is not as far as like oh I hope Vettel crashes because that would be
Yeah.
good for Hamilton, but like. But it's not a surprise that Formula One fans who are British would be happy when Lewis Hamilton wins.
Oh yeah. No, and it's not the main argument. The main argument is how many outside England feel like they're too biased, despite being the worldwide feed. That's the problem people are having.
I mean, it's a trick because like you could, I don't know, get the commentators. It could be like Jack Nichols and
Oh,
like
yeah.
Well, the thing is,
somebody else.
At the end of the day, the Sky, from Sky's point of view, their main audience is British.
Exactly.
They're getting all their money from Britain, and F1, like statistically, Sky, they're the biggest broadcasters in English for the race.
Well, yeah, no, that it helps.
But
That
only
they,
makes sense.
it
but
is
only-
because remind that they are the worldwide feed as well. So every other country gets them as well.
Yeah.
No, but that doesn't
Okay.
matter to them. They
That's
don't
not-
make any money from that.
Oh no.
That's not
Yeah, and then you
F1.
also have to like consider the fact that there's a British driver doing so well in F1. It's like they're going to really focus on that when they're doing a British audience.
hell,
They're going to want.
yeah, no, like I'm not against Sky being biased. I like Sky are basically neutral compared to Danish TV and Magnussen.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
I wish I spoke
And
Danish.
generally, it's like Danish Formula One cars focus heavily around Danish people. I know they basically interview Magnussen every single race before and after, basically.
Oh, can I
they
go
do.
to Denmark?
I know they've done interviews with Ole Schack, one of Verstappen's mechanics, and they did one actually recently, and I believe it was Germany. I was here in Hungary with one of India's newer mechanics on Ocon's car, Emilia Rath.
I think like yeah, people say that the UK coverage is biased, but I think in general the UK media, there are a lot of in like any sort of media, whether it's news, sport, whatever.
Yeah.
I think the British people sort of they demand quite unbiased
Well,
media
yeah, and even then,
for the most part. Like
now, I'm not.
we
this
don't
is-
like to see sort of heavy bias towards
Yeah.
one sports person or whatever, unless it's something like the Olympics or the World Cup, where obviously
Yeah,
everybody's behind one guy, one team.
Now this is not my argument. This is what I read this on Reddit. Just saying before getting to this. I had one guy. I can't remember who it was. Some guy on Reddit, at least on the post of the Bottas fell accident, said that Sky's British media, at least to him, seemed to be more biased than regularly than what he sees elsewhere. Especially.
I don't. I mean, maybe that's because I'm British. I mean, I've only ever seen British media, but I'm looking at American media, for example. That's very biased in many different ways. You know.
I think Excalibur can add to that.
They're the only country that exists, so that's why.
I mean, yeah, you could put like I think you could talk about media, and that's going a little bit off topic from Formula One.
Although the main problem people had because it was on a post about the Bottas fatal incident in Hungary, and it was with the Sky commentary. People was annoyed at how Brundle seemed to try. Apparently, I didn't hear it clear myself, but Brundle tried very, very hard to say it was Feld's fault. Apparently.
No, I don't. I don't believe that. I think Bundle was just saying Vettel could have like left the room in case.
I just said I didn't hear.
But I think it's interesting because I mean, just like us, he hadn't seen the fucking onboard.
Yeah.
So he had to. But as a commentator, he was forced to make a sort of an opinion.
Yeah.
All the
Should
time
we
you
go-
have to leave it the space.
I think we should go to our driver of the day now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll round up the day with driver of the day. So,
Wow, that's hard.
Simon, do you want to start us off?
Who would I go for? I'm kind of split either Ricardo or Gasly. I'll probably give it to Ricardo because Gasly had a really quiet race, and apparently Kevin wasn't allowed to attack Gasly in the race, so try and charge towards him. Which explains a bit about why Max and Neil tried to catch up.
Fair enough. Jeebus?
So I'll give it to Ricardo.
Okay.
Mostly because it seems to have I don't know how he fits the sport into that cockpit.
Fair enough. Jeebus, you?
I really don't know. Probably Ricardo, but just to go different, maybe probably Alonso. Probably. I don't like him, but
No, fair enough.
actually no, Raikkonen, because he won the entire race without a drink. And also shout out to Ericsson, who says he hasn't had a drink.
Yeah, who's done that for like 2
3
years.
seasons or something.
He blames his because he's both tall and which means he weighs a bit more.
Also,
And
also,
it's apparent that third drink system weighs 1.5 kilos.
also shout out to Ericsson and Stroll. Stroll started from the pit lane and got to within 7/10 of his teammate. And Ericsson did 64 laps on one set of mediums.
Sergei Sorokin is really good.
Moving on, Lambrex.
I
know who your driver of the day isn't.
Yeah, I really don't know because nobody particularly stood out. Quite frankly, I don't think
It's Lewis
Ricardo's.
Hamilton.
Well,
We found Lewis just did the job.
well, that's what I mean because like Ricardo, like, I'm sorry, but it's not that big of an achievement. Like, going from 16th to 5th in a car that is 1.5 seconds faster than any car outside the top 6 is not that special, quite frankly. So it's Lewis. He did the job.
I like to say Ricardo had to actually fight. While people didn't find that much, he still had to make quite a few diving moves down. Like he had to take the break.
Diving moves on cars that won't defend.
Well, I was like one car did actually defend quite well.
Oh, it's Magnussen.
Yeah. But
I must say, like Ricardo, like, and that was a good battle. I enjoyed that.
And like, despite what people were for, like, Magnussen kept it clean, very clean.
That was good racing, good hard, solid racing.
Yeah.
But overall, I just don't see Ricardo's drivers that special. So Hamilton.
Okay, fair enough. And Excalibur, what about you?
I'm gonna be different, so I'm gonna say Alonso.
That's well, I mean, that's just not different though, is it? Because that's what Jiva said. I mean, it's just fake news.
Oh,
Typical American, really.
Oh, Jesus. Going down that road, aren't we?
We've had an economic turnaround of monumental proportions like we've never seen before in the history of America.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I'm going to go...
It's time for the politics agenda.
I'm going to go even further different. And Lambrex might be a bit angry about me about this one because it's a driver that didn't finish the race.
Lando Norris.
No, Stoffel Vandoorne.
Yeah, no, agree. Good.
Because, I mean, he got robbed of a great points finish that he really deserves after a really tough time recently. And he just got robbed of it because of reliability. He would have gone from 16th to 9th. Like, that would have been an awesome finish.
That would have been undisputed driver of the day. Instead of not scrambling to try to find any way to justify anyone.
Yeah.
Magnussen.
But, yeah.
That will wrap it up. I bet.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up here as we head into the summer break. We'll have a bit of a break.
Are we doing a summer break podcast?
I believe we are. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we better get that done quickly because I'm going on holiday. So we'll do that this week.
Yeah.
Talk about the transfer market and everything.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Transfer
silly
market,
season,
like
Belgium.
driver of the season, things like that.
We'll do a look at maybe they'll look ahead to Belgium. And
And I can show you my pictures from Belgium as I go to Spa. I can give you the pre-race report
Yeah,
on the track.
tell us
Yeah,
about the track conditions.
I will say you're about a week late for the 24th race. I'm sorry.
I know, and it really pissed me off because I'm literally going like the week between the 24-hour race and the British GT race and the Formula One Grand Prix. So there you go.
Lambrex, you can give us the pictures, and we'll post them on the official Twitter page.
Yeah, I'll do like a proper like news report.
Yeah.
Dominic Lambrex.
Right on the blog.
Dominic Lambrex, the F1 agenda. Small Frankenstein.
If we can go a bit off topic.
No, we can't because we have to end the podcast, Simon.
I was just say,
I'm trying to end it 3 times now. We're done.
just good recovery to the 2 injured drivers on the race.
Didn't hear a word of that, okay.
Right, goodbye. Just
goodbye.
fucking end it.
Yes, goodbye.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks
Goodbye.
for listening. Follow Twitter. And
Is anybody still listening at this point? Like,
you don't.
I just stopped after
People know what
rating.
to do. Just do the standard stuff.
You were surely gonna watch yourself. Bye.
I've seen the analytics.
Far, comment below, like, and don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends.
Do that.
Boom, boom.